Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, sorry a girl is better than your son. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's, not a daycare. My mom ruined my wedding day. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Sorry a girl is better than your son. I do jiu-jitsu, a form of martial arts where we do sparring, punching/kicking, grappling, like wrestling, and self-defense. I was big for my age, 5 feet 6 inches by grade 8, and dispute how I looked, size 1. I was really heavy because I was buff AF. Still buff, but I've got hips now. So not only was I significantly taller than all the other girls in my class, but outweighed them all as well. I was also really good, moving up the belts quickly, and in the 2 years I had earned every youth belt and was now on my JR Black, which is the same as an adult orange. But I was still in the kids class since I was only 13, late birthday. Well, a new kid joins, and he had been at a different gym before and was 1 belt below me. So while I had a JR Black, he had a JR Brown. During our opening, you line up to bow based on belt rank, and the highest is the one that grates the teacher. I always changed at the gym since I had drama club before, so when I first meet the new kid, I was in street clothing. He started going on about how great he was, etc., and could teach me some things. Though cool, he is from a different gym, so he must know different combos and stuff. I run down to the change room and get dressed and join the other kids in the line. He's at the head of the line and I step in front of him. Ek, the highest belt goes first.
Yeah.
I'm a black and you're brown, so I go first. Ek, what? No. I'm supposed to be the highest. I shrugged and did the opening like I was supposed to, cause I'm a keener and always want to be on the good side of my teachers. This happens for every class. Other roles of the highest belt are to get the gear out for others, help lead, warm up, and be used when the teacher shows a new technique. I do it all since I'm the highest belt. Now, when it came to sparring and grappling, we often had odd numbers, so I would work with the teacher, and he would show me new advanced stuff because due to my size, when I complete, I often went against people much older than me. Or I worked with new white belts and showed them the basics, as I could be trusted to go easy and also knew my stuff. This only made Ek angrier as I got special attention, which I 100% did. But I also went out of my way and came early or stayed late to practice, so my teachers knew I was serious and treated according. Skip ahead, and it's grading. Ek was there and was going for his JR Black. I was there to help and be the dummy for him to show his techniques on. After the win, he was leaving. He told me not to get used to being top belt since now we would be the same. Little did he know. All the kids left, and the adults came for their grading. I stayed. I was going for my adult green. What Ek did not know was that when I worked one-on-one with the teachers, I was learning stuff from the adult class. My goal was that by the time I hit high school, I would move to the adult class, so I wanted to learn as much now. Belt presentation comes, and we line up and are all handed our belts. Ek gets his JR Black. So now we have the same. A JR Black is equal to an adult orange. Ek looked at me with a smirk like he was going to be the new top dog. Then I got my adult green and the smirk was gone. That day his mom was there. I still remember what happened because I was so pissed that they treated me like crap due to a stupid reason. Teacher, how is it that she has a higher belt than my son? He's now a black belt? Is that not the best? Well, yes and no. In the kids class, a junior black is the highest. But after that there are adult belts. And Ek-G 1997 is working on her adult belts. That's not right. This is a kids class. She can't do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to her age, she is too young for adult class. Still, she wants to learn. Well, then teach my son so they are the same. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is for him to have such a scrawny girl ahead of him? He is a man. You understand. No. I don't. Since you see, the highest ranking teacher her is actually a woman and the world gold medalist for grappling. She only does adult classes and has actually taken a special interest in Ek-G 1997. Ek, that's not fair. Boys are the strong ones. T. If you feel that way, then I suggest you leave. Ing. Fine. But she better not be ahead of my son anymore. It's not right. And guess what? I wasn't. I got moved up to the adult class early. The highest ranked teacher was actually the smallest lady ever, but knew all of these crazy submission techniques and taught me them since compared to the adults I was so small. Think 30 plus old and all a minute of 200 pounds. I learned more advanced skills that were only done in the adult classes. On the last Friday, the adults would go out after and get drinks. No one from the kids' class was invited, and none of their own children came. But little Ekng 1997 was right there having a Coke while they drank beers. I was quickly adopted by the older guys, and when we went out, they told the servers a crazy story about how we are actually all one big family, and each time the roles changes with me, always being someone's daughter with Kick, but teaching being my mom, so I never paid for my drinks or food. Ek caught wind that I was in the adults class and was now going to special events and trainings like what to do in a knife fight, and both he and his mom were pissed. When his mom demanded that Ek also join the adult class, early they were told no and sorry. You said you did not want her standing before Ek in line. And in the adult, Ek would be the last rank belt, so he'd be at the end anyways. I only saw Ek and his mom one other time, and that was at a tournament where I destroyed him. Darling, you are a man, you are superior. Ek, yes mummy. Ref, finish him. Op crush EK hard. How did my angel lose? Me. Watching Karate Kid and not training has something to do with it, also you and your brat ego. Basically, I did a throw where I pulled on the top of his shirt while kicking him in the stomach and throwing him over my shoulder, so in the end he flipped and I was on top of him where I finished him off as a neck hold, so he tapped out before he passed out. It was a very quick fight and I took home first place that day. I'm wondering why EK left his old dojo? Was he busy being the jerk who rubs his belt in everyone else's face? Or was it because he thought he could get to the head of the line? What's the belt of the highest boy? Green, yes. I'm gonna be the top of the class. Our gym was known for having some of the best teacher in the city. Like they all had gone and placed at the recent world tournament, so there was an increase in new people joining. I only saw Ek and his mom one other time, and that was at a tournament where I destroyed him. HOLYSHIT, that was the best ending to a story I've ever heard of. Good on you, Op. Girl power wool. Entitled parents meet malicious compliance. Excellent. That Ek needs to learn about reality. The reality is that no matter how good you are at something, there is always going to be someone better than you. Question. If you had both been junior black belts, why would he have been the highest rank? Surely you'd be as the longer standing member? So when you do the whole greet the teacher thing, it wouldn't have made a difference, or would you have done it together? Obviously made no difference in the end because you went for the adult belt but was curious. Ma'am, this is a Wendy's, not a daycare. I just remembered this while talking with a friend I worked with at this fast food chain. It wasn't a Wendy's, but that doesn't seem important for this post. Just know it was a fast food chain. I was a cashier at this place in high school. The food was mid, my coworkers were awesome, and we went through more managers than parents do McDonald's lines. This story starts with a mom and her 2 children. She came into our little establishment, ordered 2 kids' meals, then left, leaving behind her 2 little kids. I had never spent much time with children and don't really like them, so 2 adultless children in our dining room gave me a lot of anxiety. Are they okay? Can you leave them alone? They aren't going to self-implode, right? I had a job to do and a dining room to clean. After thinking on it, I decided I could clean and just ignore them. That was when I noticed they weren't sitting at the booth doing whatever it is kids do when left to their own devices. They were under the table creating art on the wall with ketchup packets. I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing. For hours passed, and she came waltzing in to collect her spawn. Okay, I was fairly accustomed to weird stuff happening, but this is manager notifying worthy. I popped my head into the deep freezer where she was doing inventory and let her know what was going on. And why didn't you come get me earlier? She asked. I don't know. I thought I could handle it. I'm a big scary teen, And there, well, toddlers. Okay, not my best move, but now aware of the situation and armed with camera footage, my manager lets me know she will deal with her next time. 2 days later, and she gives us a round two. Another 2 kids' meals. This time I don't wait and tell the manager ASAP. My manager serves this lady with a, "And don't forget your kids this time," passing her a slip of paper. On the paper was the phone number to a local daycare that charged based on income of the family. Issue handled. I go out to clean tables and find these kids drawing on the table with salt. My manager got irate. 4-ish hours later, mom is back for her kids and my manager approaches. They go outside to have a tense conversation that ends with the woman storming off with her kids. I later found out she was pissed my manager assumed they were poor. My manager was ready for round 3 a week later. She came in, same order. This time my manager takes her order. When I go out to hand her the kids' meal, she is gone, leaving behind her kids. Cops arrived real quick, then child services, then the kids were gone and our little fast food chain went back to normal. That was for the next 4 hours. Side note, I am autistic. Not like very obviously autistic. Not the kind that needs a ton of assistance, but a mild brand that will occasionally say the oddest thing. So keep that in mind when mom came back. Where are my kids? Oh, it's you again. I am smiling behind the counter. A couple of guys came in and took them. She went pale. Guys? What guys? What did they look like? When did they take them? What were doing that you weren't watching them? Well, I didn't get their names, but they looked big and strong and promised to take good care of them. I didn't talk to them though. It wasn't any of my business. I'm a cashier, not a babysitter. I would make a bad babysitter. I don't really like kids. Perfect. The only problem I had with this story was the fact that they waited until the 3rd time she did it to call the cops. As an adult now, I think we should have called the first time, but I think my manager wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were having a hard time finding childcare. I am not a fan of kids, so if this happened at my work today, I'd call the cops. Oh, it's okay, ma'am. They had guns. My grandma used to do this with me and my sister. Take us to McDonald's, get our hamburger fries and soda, tell us to go in the playroom, and she would go grocery shopping. One day our dad happened to come in for lunch and we ran out to him yelling, "Hi, Daddy." The manager said, "Are these your kids?" He said, "Yes, they are supposed to be with my mom." The manager told him, "She leaves us there all the time and they can't watch us because they are working." My dad takes us and we find my grandma, and my dad let her have it. And she said, "Well, they don't need to come with me shopping." And my dad said, "If I ever find out you did this, I will call the police on you." She never did it again. That is what happens when you abandon your kids in a restaurant for 4 hours every week. If she had a weekly appointment at the same time every week, she should have gotten some sort of childcare for the kids, not leave them in a fast food restaurant. The manager did the right thing. That mother would not have learned her lesson if there were no consequences. My mom ruined my wedding day. My mom is very entitled. Weeks before my wedding, she told me my dress was very ugly and I should wear something more sexy/revealing. However, this is the same woman who was so emotional at the bridal store as I was trying on dresses. She even paid for the dress. The day before my wedding, she spent the entire rehearsal taking out her grievances on her older sister. She yelled at WTF, "You were even here at my aunt in the parking lot." As we were rehearsing, she stood in front of my aunt, blocking her view and obstructing her from taking photos using her body. I was morbidly embarrassed as I had close friends and my husband's relatives, whom she was just meeting for the first time, there. My mom even stooped so low as to walk past my aunt and jump at her with her fist balled as if she was going to punch her own sister in her face. I thought everything had calmed down, but no. My mom called the police to have my aunt escorted from the venue. My aunt was extended an invitation to my wedding, and her husband is my officiant. The whole time my aunt is just sitting there taking all of this verbal abuse. All the while my mom is making herself look like a complete fool. Once we get back home, my mom is profusely apologizing and promising to behave better tomorrow, my wedding day. Is her mother around? Anybody else she will listen to? Her mom, a preacher, somebody who can shut her down? How about you? Mom, your behavior at the rehearsal was unacceptable. Here's the deal. You will be polite to everybody, including Aunt Jane, or I will go and see with you. Then hang up the phone and let your mom deal with the potential consequences of her potential behavior. Another approach. Mom, if you cannot behave in a civil and polite manner, do not come to my wedding. Parents are both deceased. So is her husband, she's a widow. She leans on my brother and I really hard. Why is she still invited after all this? Why are you allowing her to come? Why did you not put an end to it in the moment? I'm so confused why she was allowed to stay and to continue to behave like that. If the police actually showed up, I'd have asked them to escort your mother from the venue. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.